Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I love competition. Why? Because with competition, the consumer always wins. You get better products at cheaper prices. Not always, but every once in a while, you end up getting a better product at a cheaper price because competitors want to undercut each other so they can get a bigger market share of whatever it is that they're selling. In this case, I'm reviewing the Vtoman 1500 solar generator, and this is the cheapest that I've ever reviewed. It comes in at about 45 cents per watt hour, which in my opinion is a great deal, especially for a person that is on a budget. There are a few things that I would change about it, but they're not necessarily deal breakers. Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, you know that I've reviewed a lot of solar generators. So why do I keep reviewing them? Well, you know, new things keep coming out, just like this Vtoman here. It has something that I've never seen on a solar generator. But that's not the reason. The main reason is because of the price. And each of these units come with a little over 1,500 watt hours of capacity. So you're getting almost 3,100 watt hours. I think that is a great deal. Now, it's not a great deal unless it's a good machine. I haven't reviewed this yet. I haven't really taken a look at it. I'm looking at it for the first time with you all here. And hopefully it will last through the test of time. And as you know, ladies and gentlemen, one of the first things that I'm going to do to test this solar generator is hook it up to my refrigerator to see how long it will last. I think I was hoping too much or wishing for too much when I said, man, I hope this doesn't have to use a battery block, but it does, meaning that it is not pass-through charging. You can use it while you're charging it, but it's not pass-through, meaning that it has like a 10 millisecond or 20 millisecond delay in order to switch over to your appliance, whatever you may be using on it, if the grid electricity went off. So it's not something that I would have plugged in all the time while running my appliances off of it. You can do that, but I personally wouldn't recommend it. So as I stated before, the main unit right here is 1,548 watt hours, and the extra battery that you can get with it is also 1,548 watt hours. So you're getting a little bit under 3,100 watt hours at what I think is a great price, at least the best price that I've seen since reviewing solar generators. Let me go ahead and show you what each of these come with. And then let me go ahead and show you the working components of the main unit and how easy it is to hook up the external battery to it. Now, one of the things that I can't say this is a pet peeve of mine, but why have an external battery of 1,548 watt hours when you can just make the unit 3,100 watt hours? You don't have one unit for 3,100 watt hours instead of having the extra batteries. I guess depending on your lifestyle and depending on what you're going to use it for would determine. Of course, it gives you the ability to choose whether or not to add the extra battery to it. So if you just want to get the main unit first and then wait a few months until you save up for the extra battery, you can do that. That's great. One of the things that I come up with, and I really wouldn't use it for this, but let's say you were going to go camping or you were going to go work outside and you were only going to need this unit for a little bit, or you were going to use it to charge your car, right? Because this actually has a power jump system where you can power jump your car if the battery runs dead. Then you really wouldn't want to take both units outside. You just want to take one unit, the one that actually completes the function that you needed to complete. Or let's say, for example, you were outside working and there was something that you needed to hook up a power tool for and you didn't have an extension cord or didn't want to bring out the extension cord. You bring your unit out, you'd hook up your power tool to it, run it, and then bring it back in and hook it back up to the battery. So there's some reasons why it's nice to have an extra battery instead of having one unit that's 3,100 kilowatt hours. But I guess what I'm saying is that why not just put it all together and sell it as one ball package, especially when you're selling it for the price that these guys are selling it for. So let's take a look at what it comes with, and then we'll go over the functions, and then I'm going to go ahead and take it to my refrigerator. I'm going to go ahead and let it sit until the battery drains to, let's say, about 20% or less to see how long my refrigerator will run. Now, both the main unit and the external battery, they come with a little package, right? So that you can put your cord. This is the cord that you're going to use to transfer energy from this unit to this one right here. So that's all that comes in this package right here, along with a a user's manual, which is not very in-depth. It pretty much tells you make sure that your machine is off and it's not hooked up to the AC or any power before you go ahead and connect it or disconnect it. Now the pouch for your main unit unfortunately brings a block, ladies and gentlemen. I was hoping that it was just one straight cord so that it can be uninterrupted or pass through charging, but it brings a block, and in all honesty this block is going to take a long time to charge the entire unit if they were both drained to zero, because this charging block right here that you hook up to your AC outlet, your garden variety AC outlet in your house, it only powers input at about 200 watts. So that means that if both of these units are drained, it's going to take roughly 15 hours or more for them to both reach 100% capacity. It's not the end of the world, but it would have been nice, since they went out of their way to make a big unit like this, 3,000 kilowatt hours, that they would have put a charging system in it that would have taken a much larger load instead of 200 watts per hour. It also comes with your garden variety cigarette plug adapter so that you can charge it as well from your vehicle if you like to. Now they did add a little bonus that I think is pretty nice. They actually hooked you up with a USB-C USB adapter so that you can go ahead and charge something that takes USB-C from the USB port. And they also hooked you up with a USB-C to USB-C. That way you can actually put it in the USB-C port and charge something that you have that's USB-C. So it's kind of nice that they included both of these. I really don't see too many solar generator companies including these guys as well. So it's nice that they have it. Hey, this is going to save you $2 or $3 from having to buy one at the store, right? Now, something that's a little confusing, ladies and gentlemen, is number one, it's really good that this has a LiFePO battery. Okay, so a LiFePO battery, in my opinion, is like the best battery that there is for solar generators because it gives you a lot of life cycles, meaning that you can discharge your solar generator and charge it several times, thousands of times, before the capacity of the input into the battery starts to draw down. However, reading through the owner's manual, it states that this unit is only rated to 1,000 charge cycles and discharge cycles, which is a bit confusing because LiFePO batteries, I don't believe I've seen one that's rated at less than 2,000 life cycles. Like I said, I was a little confused at the 1,000 cycle rating that states on the owner's manual, so I contacted my representative and they cleared up that that is a typo, that this unit is rated for 3,000 charge-recharge cycles, which makes a lot more sense because LiFePO batteries, as I stated previously, usually go at least 2,000 if not more. Especially the newer ones that are coming out are usually 3,000 and more charge-discharge cycles, which is a very good thing. Now, taking a look at the working end, ladies and gentlemen, it's pretty basic. You've got your input both for your AC, even though here it says DC 12 volt to 30 volt input, you can attach your AC to one of these and you can attach your solar to one as well, or to either or, right? It's got your basic garden variety cigarette lighter plug with your 2 DC posts. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you use these for. I have never used these 2 DC posts before. I've used this part before on solar generators, but I've never used these before. Let me know what you use them for. Leave it down in the comments if you may. I like that it has 2 USB-C ports that are 100 watts each. That's very nice, especially now when the phones that you get nowadays are usually USB-C and they can take more than 20 watts. And I also like that it has several of the dinosaur ports, which are your standard USB-A ports. It has 3 that are normal output and it has 1 that's fast charging, or here they say quick charging. So far pretty satisfied mainly with this. The only thing that so far I'm not very satisfied with is that the input is only 200 watts. I wish that they would have made the input on this a little bit more. However, for the price, you really don't have too much room to complain for the price on this thing. It's got a basic LCD screen, which is fine as long as it puts out the information that you needed to put out. I have not charged this solar generator yet. I actually just took it out of the box. So it's at 70%. And they do state in the owner's manual that before you use this, to make sure that you fully charge it. So what I'll be doing today is I will be fully charging this, and once I do that, I will be hooking my refrigerator up to it. It has 3 pure sine wave, of course, 1500 watt continuous output plugs. This is just like the plugs in your house. These put out 1500 watts, so just shy of 15 amps. And someone actually asked today, ladies and gentlemen, someone that we gifted a solar generator to, they said, hey, we have 3 plugs on ours. Can we use all 3 of them at the same time? And I said, yes, absolutely, as long as you don't surpass the rated output. For example, on this one is 1500 watts. It doesn't mean that you can get 1500 watts from each of these. Now, this does have a surge up to 3000 watts according to the owner's manual, meaning that if you hook something up to it that, let's say, takes about 1200 watts continuous, right? And when it first starts, it has a surge of electricity that it consumes. If it goes over 1500 watts, and up to 3000 watts for a second or two, that's okay. But as long as the continuous output is not more than 1500 watts, you can plug in anything you want into all 3 or just plug it into one. And like I stated in the beginning of the video, this has something that I've never seen. However, I wish that they would have sent the car jumper with it, even if they would have charged a little bit more. So this here has the ability for you to go ahead and plug in a car battery jumper into this, take it out there, and start your vehicle if the battery is dead. And this last one, ladies and gentlemen, is the terminal where you hook up your wire to connect your main unit to your external battery. Very simple to use, and one of the things that I do like is simplicity. You don't even have to have a long hold on any of these buttons to turn on any of the functions. So if you want to use this portion right here, and you'll see it pop up right here, you just press it one time, a quick press, right? If you want to stop using it, you stop using it right there and press it again and you're done. And you can see that whenever you stop using a certain function, the hours of operation that are left in accordance to how much capacity you have in your battery, it goes away because it's not operating. So here's the USBs, simple. So right here, USB, it says it has 90 hours left, right? Let's take that off. Let's turn on our AC. And usually the AC, you have to hold it for a few seconds, but this one right here, you just press it and that's it. And you can hear that when the AC, when you turn it on, you can hear that fan come up. That pretty much tells you that your AC is ready to go. But let's go ahead and turn it off. Now it does say in the owner's manual that before you connect these things together that you want to make sure that it's off. So everything on here is off. And again, this is the wire that you use. I would have really liked, ladies and gentlemen, I would have really liked if the main unit or the battery had a flat top so that you can put one on top of the other and then connect them from one to the other. But this one right here, you don't have that option. You have to go ahead and connect them next to each other. That would have taken up less square footage on your ground, on your floor. So let's go ahead and hook this up. Should be very simple to do because it's kind of dummy proof. You can only plug it in one way. And there you go. As soon as I plugged it in to the external battery lit up with the indicator that allows us to see how much of a charge it has. And right now it's at 75%, where the main unit is at 72%. All right, let's go ahead and plug it in. I've got my block plugged into an outlet, and here is the input. And you should be able to use either or for your solar or for your AC. I mean, this is technically DC after it goes through the block, I do believe, but you should be able to use either or. Okay, so let's go ahead and plug this in and see what happens. Okay, you can see that the watts are coming up, and it's telling you how many hours it's going to take to finish filling it. And this is one of the cons that I would find with this unit. Man, I'll tell you what, if they would have made it to where you can power this up like with maybe 500 or 600 watts of power, that would have been awesome, because it means that you would have been able to charge this up in just a few hours, both of them combined. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. I'll come back and let you all know how many hours it took to power this up from roughly 70-75% all the way to 100. So we'll call it from 70% to 100, because even your external battery right here, it says 75%. It's been about 2 hours since I first started charging, and you can see that the main unit is at 100%, and it's showing 2.6 hours for the external battery to fully charge. So 25% of 1500 watt hours, let's say it's roughly 375 watt hours, which makes sense that we have 2.5 hours left of charging at 165, 170 watts. So as you can see, first one that's going to charge will be this one, which kind of makes sense. And then this one will start charging once this one is full. There's Lucy, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to let this finish up until it's 100% charged and all of these bars are completely full. Then I'm going to throw it on my fridge, or I'm going to connect my fridge to it, and then I'll come back and let you all know how long my fridge was able to run on both of these joined together. I just plugged my refrigerator into the Vtoman, and it is now 7:11 p.m. on 1 March. And for those of you that don't know, my refrigerator is 25.5 cubic feet in size. So let's see how long it will last. And it is now the next day at 2:14 in the afternoon, which means that this unit has powered my refrigerator for 19 hours, and it is at 41%. You can see the fridge is running right now. The external battery is completely drained, but we still have 41% on the main unit right here. So I'm going to go ahead and shut it off now. I think it's pretty impressive that we ran our refrigerator freezer for 17 hours, 19 hours, man. That's pretty impressive off of this unit. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the main unit from the spare battery, or from the external battery, because the external battery is drained. I am going to go ahead and run my water heater. I have a small water heater in my house for our bathroom that only draws 1500 watts. So this unit here is made to output 1500 watts continuous. Let's go and see if it can power my water heater. So my water heater is in a tight little corner in my bathroom, so I went ahead and ran an extension cord to it, and I'm going to go ahead and plug it in right now, and let's just see what happens. And you can see as soon as I plugged it in, it's starting to draw a lot of wattage. Now, I do not recommend that anyone does this. I would not use this mainly for my water heater. And look at that, it's not even drawing as much wattage as what it's rated for. My little water heater is a 1500 watt water heater, which works out great because it gives us just enough water to where we can take a shower with no problem for about half an hour and have hot water. And then it takes about 15 minutes for it to heat up the water to where you can shower again. For a family of 3, that works out just fine. And what I like about it the most is very simple to change out if I have to change it out. But you can see that it is pulling 1200 watts and it is maintaining. I'm going to go ahead and let this run for a few minutes to see how long it will take for my water heater to go ahead and heat up and then shut down, to see how much of the capacity of the battery goes down. Because this right here is saying now that it's got 77, almost 78 it had capacity left, which means that it should get my water heater to a level where it can turn off and not need any more electricity. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I don't recommend that you run a heater or any appliance that's going to suck that electricity right out of that battery. This is how much power it used up. If you remember, it was at 77% before I hooked up my water heater, and it took 40% of this battery's capacity in order for it to heat up 18 gallons of water. Now, if you happen to have this and you have a lot of sun outside and it's the apocalypse and you feel like taking a shower that's nice and warm and splurging, by all means. However, in my opinion, I think that the faster that you drain a battery, that the more it will shorten its lifespan. But it did it with no problem. I didn't take time as far as how long it took it to heat up the water, because that doesn't really matter, but just take a look at how much of the energy it used. So ladies and gentlemen, what do I think about this unit? I think it's a great unit for entry level. I think that the price is right for an entry level unit and for what it can do. I wrote a few things down here that I would actually change about it, or that I would add to it. And the first thing is pretty minor. I would have just included a battery jumper with it, you know, so that you can hook up to that outlet that it has, so that you can take it outside and jump your car's battery if it needed to. I would have included that in it. The second thing is I kept saying pass through power, but I really meant uninterrupted power supply. So instead of coming with a charging block, I would have just put a inverter in there that would take power straight from your AC outlet in your house, charge it a lot faster instead of 200 or 180 watts per hour, and that also you can have an appliance hooked up to it all the time, where it would take power from the grid instead of your battery, keeping your unit topped off at all time. That way, if you lose power, that appliance would just keep running no matter what. Now, you can do this with the way it is now. However, it's going to be drawing power from your battery at the same time that the battery is being powered at the 160 something, 170 watts that's coming in from the grid, which means that if you're powering an appliance that takes a lot more than 170, 180 watts per hour, that it's eventually going to draw down the battery. So I would have definitely included uninterrupted power supply with a much higher capacity of input for both the AC outlet in your home and for solar. And another thing that I think would be awesome is if you can charge the external battery independently. Right now, the way it's set up, you have to have that external battery hooked up to your main unit in order for it to be charged. So I'm thinking, why have an external battery then if you can't charge it independently? It would be pretty awesome if you can take your external battery off once it's drained. And that's another thing. Make sure that the external battery drains first. So make sure that whenever you're using the unit hooked up to the external battery, that the external battery drains first. That way you can have the option of disconnecting the external battery once it's drained and your main unit still has full capacity, taking the external battery out, hooking it up to a solar panel and having it charge while your other unit is doing the work that it was intended to do. So I think that's another thing that they could improve on this model. Also, I stated previously, it would be nice if this model was stackable, so meaning that one or the other would have a flat top that you can put the other on top, so that it takes less square footage wherever it is that you plan on planting it throughout your home. And also, it would be nice if you can daisy chain several external batteries together instead of only one. I know I'm asking for a lot for the price, but I'm just stating what would make this device better in my opinion. Ladies and gentlemen, my contact at Vtoman sent me an email saying, guess what? The 1500 is all out of stock. It figures, right? But what they're going to do is they're pretty much going to give you the 1500 price for the 1800 model, which is pretty much identical to the one that you just saw me review, except that instead of outputting 1500 watts continuous, it does 1800 watts continuous. It still has a 1548 watt hour battery. Everything is pretty much the same, except that it gives you more continuous output. I'm going to go ahead and leave the information for both the main unit and the combo up here so you can take a look at it, what the price is and everything, and I will leave the link to both of those on a pinned comment and on the description of the video. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining in. God bless every one of you. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper, and I'm out.